8 moderate Democrats joined Republicans, potentially bringing an end to the longest government shutdown in American history. The agreement promises to restore essential services, including federal food aid, and pay for hundreds of thousands of federal workers. But it also will call for a vote in the Senate with regards to extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Now, here's the problem. Republicans have already ended those subsidies when they passed that big, ugly bill. So this promise of a vote next month before the actual price hikes or subsidies go away, which will lead to massive hikes in insurance for lots of folks. My panel, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA, Killa Bethea, communication strategist, Cameron Trimble, CEO, Hip Politics Media, and former White House senior advisor. Glad to have all three of you here. The bottom line is this here, Mustafa. The votes are not there for Democrats in the House. Republicans control that. They'll have the votes to actually to pass whatever they want to pass. And again, you have the continuing resolution, the government will reopen. So, okay, this deal that Democrats cut, they're going to vote in December to extend the subsidies. Are these Democrats somehow thinking that Republicans are going to get skittish and then they're going to cave and vote for this? They voted against the subsidies a couple of months ago. I don't see them doing anything differently this time.
Yeah, there's no reason for Republicans to do anything different. You know, Democrats had the opportunity to hold the line, to continue to push, to make sure that they got something out of the deal that actually would help folks. You know, folks are still wondering, you know, is it insulin or groceries? Is it lights? Or is it, other types of things that need to be paid? And Democrats had the opportunity to help folks to be able to answer that question by making sure that folks, their healthcare coverage wouldn't double or triple. And it's going to be happening in lots of places. Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oregon, South Carolina, Texas, and I believe Tennessee are the top 8 places. And then West Virginia, of course, that, we know are going to be hit the hardest. So one, it is still a matter of making sure that people understand who's going to get hit first. But then we also understand, as always, there's still a racial injustice aspect to this and an economic injustice aspect. So I don't understand why Democrats also, Roland, didn't bring forward the fact that it's estimated that about 340,000 jobs will also be lost if they don't, move forward on making sure that people have this health care, because rural clinics and others will unfortunately have to lose people. So Democrats had the opportunity. They made the choice that they did. I guess their plan is that they are going to, try and make sure that folks understand that Republicans are actually the one that's taking away, your health care coverage. But I don't know if that's enough for what they gave up. But I guess time will tell.
So, Kelly, use 8 moderate Democrats. Okay, fine. The Republicans promised them a vote. They are still catching lots of hell from lots of folks. But the problem is, it's not like any of them are up for re-election in 2026. So they're making a calculated guess that, all right, you know what? Hey, this is the best deal we can get. Well, they're gonna have to answer to a lot of people if this vote goes the way we expected next month, and those subsidies go away and premiums jack up all across America.
Absolutely. And I can't express how angry I am at those 8, because it is clear that this was a safe move for them, right? It almost feels as though they didn't care one way or the other. And I get what Fetterman was talking about. Like, you can't govern in a hostage situation. I understand that. But at the same time, you Democrats weren't the ones holding the government hostage. It was the Republicans holding the government hostage. They were holding people as ransom. This was not an exchange. This was not anything positive. This was a shakedown on top of a shutdown. This was extortion. And the fact that 8 Democrats who people voted for, who people trusted, don't understand that, it is infuriating because we just spent 42 days being virtually penniless, 42 days of missed paychecks, 42 days of grounded flights, 42 days of hungry families, 42 days of hungry veterans, right? Today is Veterans Day, and you're making them line up for free groceries because your party shut down their paychecks, right? Like, where's the justice in that? The shutdown hit people who hold America together: federal workers, service members, single parents, Black and brown people. And for what? For you to do business as usual in the hopes that business will return to a time where Republicans were actually reasonable? This is absurd. And it hurts. It feels like a betrayal. Because just last Tuesday, we proved that not only can we hold the line, we can actually turn the tide. And 8 people just said, I don't want it. Against what their constituents want, against what their colleagues want, against what this party wants, you just said, screw it. And for what? And we have to deal with you for another 5-6 years because you guys can't be primaried come 26. Like, it is infuriating.
So, Cameron, what do you see what's next? There are some who say, you know what, guess what? The base, they'll forget this. This is not going to have any impact on the 2026 midterm elections. Your assessment?
I think this is the base, and all parts of the Democratic Party. They do feel the anger, and they do feel like, what did we just spend the last 40 plus days doing in standing up for if they were to cave? But I expect this to cause a extreme reckoning within the Democratic Party. The fact that it was isolated to these 8 Democrats, and Angus King, who's an independent, mostly Northeast states, but you also had New Mexico and other people, Nevada represented, but they're not up on the election next year. I expect every Democrat who's up for election, there's a reason why Ossoff didn't put his name behind this. There's a reason why Schumer and others didn't put their names behind this. I expect every Democrat who is up for re-election in the Senate and the entire House who's going to vote against this to find significant distance between themselves. And then this sets up a do or die vote on health care, point blank and period. And I think that is the calculation. Now that we are here, we wanted to hold the line, but now that the line has no longer been held, there is a do or die vote that Speaker Johnson first needs to bring up in the House. And then if he doesn't, that is something that I hope Democrats are able to message properly, message simply, and message widely and ferociously the entire year, that these are the people who want to keep your healthcare prices going. They're going to need to bring families of all races, hues from every part of the country. Every individual should be looking right now to families of 4, single families, business owners, people who are all going to have their businesses, their homes wrecked, their budgets wrecked, people who may not be able to get the kind of health care they need, people who may be pushed into poverty, businesses who may have to close because of the I would say the gripping costs of healthcare and the rise of healthcare, and they must message on that for 360 plus or however many days until the next election to make this around a single issue around healthcare. So I do expect that there will be significant distance placed between the House Dems and also this might be a chance, honestly, to pick up some seats and to try to hang this around the neck of every Republican, whether it be in the Senate, House, hell, even down ballot, the fact that they supported folks not being able to have health care. They supported more people dying. They supported more people not being able to get the necessary drugs or medications they need. They supported the closing of rural and urban hospitals and all the jobs lost. They need to be very crystal clear on hanging this around the neck of those of everybody who's on the ballot next year.
Here's the question, and many people have been calling for this, and Mustafa, I'll start with you. Is it time for Democrats to replace Chuck Schumer? He couldn't keep his caucus. He couldn't hold his caucus. Some believe that privately he sort of gave them the nod saying, I'll vote against it, but you guys go ahead and vote for it. Is it time for Democrats to have new leadership in the United States Senate?
Let me answer that this way. You have two responsibilities in that position. One, to be able to count the votes. The second part is to be able to hold your caucus together. And he has not been successful at being able to do that. I understand that it's a very challenging moment, challenging situations, but you should have enough cachet to be able to have those conversations with your folks to say, this is not the moment to do this. This is how we are going to move forward together as a whole caucus. And that's the responsibility of a leader. So, many of us feel that new leadership would help to revitalize and help to bring energy back and hopefully also bring some focus back. So I guess we'll see what happens after this.
Kelly, is it time for Chuck Schumer to go?
It's absolutely time for him to go. And we can thank him for his service on his way out. Because at the end of the day, 8 Senate Democrats crossed the line that we were holding, right? They crossed the line and they handed Republicans a victory that they didn't deserve, they didn't earn. They didn't end the shutdown by doing this. They endorsed extortion by doing this. And when Democrats vote for bills that gut health care / worker protections, shielding GOP senators from accountability, that doesn't make you a moderate. It doesn't make you a blue dog Democrat. It makes you a co-conspirator. It makes you a collaborator. And Chuck Schumer knows that. And Chuck Schumer didn't do anything to stop it, whether it was because he didn't have the power to stop it or whether he did have the power to stop it. And he was like, oh, well, it's only 8. Like, that rationale alone is enough for me to say, your time has come, sir. We need new blood. And frankly, last Tuesday proved that. Outside of all of this rigmarole, last Tuesday proved that not only do we need new blood, we are voting for new blood and we want them in those seats.
Cameron, stay or go? Schumer.
I'll say this about Schumer. I think the other thing, to Mustafa's point, the other thing that the head of the Senate and the House, whether it's the minority leader or your Speaker of the House, is also significantly around fundraising. And Schumer has proven to be a fundraising force. Unfortunately, money is throughout our politics, and there are many members who struggle to raise the money that is needed to compete in today's political landscape. And he has the ears of the donors in New York and around the country. So he still does that, but even that I don't think is as effective as it once was. I think the people will decide if it's time for him to go. I'm not a New York resident. I don't know how well he represents New York or not, or the current New York.
Yeah, but Cameron, him being a United States Senator, that's the people voting. The Democratic caucus chooses their leader. So the question is it time for the Democratic caucus to choose somebody else to be their leader, to be the Democratic leader in the United States Senate?
I'll say this. I because of how I look at the Democratic Party as a whole and what I think I have the faith in the party to be able to handle or not handle. If it happens, it has to happen organically. While I may disagree, I definitely disagree with how Schumer held this and he wasn't able to hold the line. I'm also not confident that coming for Chuck Schumer, it won't embroil the Democrats in an infight that'll have them mess around and lose their opportunity to win back the Senate and win back the House. I think if it happens, and then there's all the rumblings that Congresswoman AOC is asked to primary Chuck Schumer, is asked to come for her. You've seen she's been bringing out tens of thousands of people all around the country. All her followers online, all the energy. She's easily one of the most recognizable members of Congress. And so she has a lot of energy around her. I think she still would have an uphill battle primarying and going after Schumer's seat. But I think if it happens organically, because if they will,
Cameron, you gotta make a decision. Cameron, you're saying if it happens organically, okay, if AOC runs, bruh, that ain't got nothing to do with none of this. It's either should the Democratic caucus Cameron, I'm going to ask you right now. Here we are in late 2025. Should the Democratic caucus replace Chuck Schumer as their minority leader right now through next year? Yes or no?
No.
Got it.
And that's it. Yeah. No.
Okay.
And I think it's, like I said, it's
okay.
I don't think they could handle it.
I got it. All right, cool. All right.
I don't think we can handle it.
I got it. All right.
I don't
Good
think
point.
we can handle him.
Well, we'll see what happens. Well, again, I don't know a lot of people that have trust in Chuck Schumer. I'm just saying that right now.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.